Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Heavily Biased Talks Fantasy Football. So today we're going to be talking about our Week 3 matchups, lineups, Draftkings, our Underdog Picks, and just kind of how our season's going so far. So last week I played against Ross and got shelled pretty good. I was going to do this whole thing where I was like going to talk a ton of shit to you, but I'm glad I held off on that. After the Thursday night game, I was like, maybe that's not the best idea. So because you had a bunch of guys go off on Thursday. So, but yeah,
Was that because I was like a little spicy on Saturday or what, man?
What's that?
Was that because I was a little spicy on Saturday?
Oh yeah. So, but it's all good, man. Jaron, did you win your week?
No, I was the highest scoring
Oh,
loser.
dude, you had the worst luck
Because
ever,
if
man.
at a 12 team half point PPR, who in their right mind starts
Dude,
Jerome Ford? Wow,
who is Jerome
Nick
Ford
Chubb.
until Nick Chubb got hurt?
Nobody. He's a backup. He
Exactly.
never
How the
gets
hell?
carries. All because Roddy had no idea what he was doing, and now he plays the game that he knows what he's doing.
I don't know, man. That's one of those things. It's just I didn't even notice that he, like when we were going back and forth in the group chat. I didn't know
I
that.
saw it.
Yeah, I didn't
I
know that
saw
he
him
had him
starting
in
it. I was like,
there.
"What is it?" Hey, there's no. I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. There's no. He's starting Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb's gonna get like 25 carries.
So you
Lo and
look at the
behold,
lineups right before the games, and I'm sure you're like, "Huh, Jerome Ford? Like, did you have to look him up? Did you look up a
yeah, I was like,
news
okay, he'll
article?
get 2 points. He'll get 2 points. I'm gonna win by 20. Cool. No, he
Well,
gets 25.
didn't he have Pittsburgh's defense too or something? Or no, you had Cleveland's defense?
Yeah, I had Cleveland's defense. I was
Yeah,
looking
so
for more picks, but
I gotta admit, I got a little lucky on that Nick Chubb thing. I had a 5-pick parlay on Underdog for I got it right here. So George Pickens over 3.5 receptions. He got 4. Raheem Mostert over 59.5 rushing yards. He got that pretty comfortably. Chris Boswell over 1.5 extra points. I was sweating that one for a long time. And then Blake Groupie or whatever his name is over 1.5 field goals made. He had that in the first quarter, I think. But my last leg of it was under 82.5 rushing yards by Nick Chubb. And after the first quarter, I was like, there's no way he's not going to get it. So I just stopped watching it. And my brother texted me and was like, Nick Chubb's out for the year. And I was just like, oh, I won some money, but man, I hate that, man. Just that's brutal. Especially the way the running backs are kind of getting treated this year, but you know, that's part of it, I guess. All right. So first segment, we're going to do something. I haven't come up with a clever name for it yet, but basically it's like a panic meter. So I'm going to give you all 5 names. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, like cut this person, get rid of them, they're cursed, whatever. You're going to tell me how worried you are about them. So, Kyle Pitts. So I had all this written down and then I lost my card. So let me look. All right. So far this season, he's got 4 receptions for 59 yards, no touchdowns. Ross, how on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about Kyle Pitts?
Oh. So I've got him as an 8 for my panic meter, and I'm basing that a little bit too on like where was he drafted? He was drafted probably top 4 tight end, and he's producing like somebody you probably shouldn't even have on your team. So
yeah,
panic meter's high for Kyle Pitts.
Jaron, what about you?
I would do 9. Same. Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, and he runs the ball 90% of the time. I think Desmond Ritter is averaging 16 pass attempts a game, so there's no way he's going to throw the ball. If it is, he's going to hit London. But yeah, I would panic on Pittance.
Well, and I feel, and the worst part of it, fantasy wise, is that they've won both games. Right? They're 2-0.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that as long as they keep winning, that's going to be the formula going forward. I'm with y'all, man. I think it's an 8 or a 9. And the bad thing is you drafted him so high, especially like in a league that we're in where it's a keeper league. You can't really drop him. because as soon as you drop him, he's going to go off for 3 weeks in a row, and whoever's going to be not only be able to pick him up but also keep him for the next year. So yeah, I'm really glad I don't have to worry about that situation week in and week out. All right, next up, Josh Jacobs for the Raiders. Josh Jacobs, I know he had a decent game week 1, but I think his. All right, so last week was rough. Last week he had nine attempts for -2 yards. He caught 5 passes, but and then so total for this year he's got 28 rushing attempts, 46 yards, and he's got 7 receptions. So Jaron, 1 to 10, how are you feeling about Josh Jacobs?
I'd say 5 or 6. He's facing pretty tough defenses as well. Just place the Buffalo Bills, who are pretty good at stopping a run. He's the only running back in that backfield. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried. You're gonna play him. He's a top 3 round running back, 3rd round pick, so you're gonna play him. So 5 or 6.
Ross, what about you?
Yeah, I'm right. A little lower than Jaron. I'm maybe like 3 or 4. I mean, 28 total carries. I know only 9 in the second, but they're gonna use them. And the passing though, he's gotten 74 yards in 2 games. So, I'll take that. And remember too, he wasn't in training camp, right? Wasn't he holding out? He was the dude fighting for running backs everywhere.
Yeah, he came in right at the end, I think.
So give him some time. I'm not worried about Josh Jacobs too much.
Yeah, I'd probably do a 4, just because you probably still had to draft him high. With those picks, you kind of need those guys to pan out every week for you. But again, 2 weeks into the season, it's not too much. The only problem with Jacobs that I see is I feel like he's very script dependent. If they get behind, or if it's one of these games that Oakland or Vegas has to throw a lot, I just feel like even though he's catching some balls, I feel like that's where he's going to struggle. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. All right, so this guy's actually on my team, so this one affects me close to home. Alexander Mattison for the Vikings. His stats are 19 carries for the year, 62 yards, no touchdowns. He's got 6 receptions. Ross, what are your thoughts on him? And not only that, but they just brought in Cam Akers from the Rams.
Cool. Yeah, so I was looking at this before the trade, but my panda meter was already high. It was like 8 or 9. Just little production. He's not doing anything when he gets the ball. They want to give him the ball, and he hasn't done anything. And when you do that, they're not going to trust you. They're going to stop giving you the ball. I even wrote, I think they're trying to trade him or trying to trade for somebody else. And then I don't know why you went and got Cam Akers, but okay. That's how bad he is. If you bring in somebody that mediocre to be the starting running back, you're not good. Panic meters.
Yeah. Jaron?
7 or 8. I'll be panicking. He's getting all the carries and he's just not producing. If the Vikings feel like they need to add another running back to the stable because he's not cutting it, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm actually like at a 10 just because I feel like the opportunity was there the first couple of games, and not only was he not producing, but he's fumbling the ball, and those are just things that you cannot do. And he might just be one of those guys that, some people are kind of saying that about Tony Pollard a little bit, is that his production is down this year as a starter compared to when he was kind of spelling Zeke last year. So, I mean, some of these guys are just more built to come in and kind of be a spark plug a few plays a game. But yeah, again, if it wasn't a keeper league thing, and if this was like midway through the season, I would probably cut him just because I need the space on my team. But it's, a couple more weeks, man, and it's going to be a tough decision to make. All right. Next one is a guy that normally I'm really high on, but for whatever reason, he just has not, he has not done well so far this year. And that is George Kittle from the 49ers. So they're playing right now as we do this show against the Giants. So far this year, and this is including tonight, he's got 6 receptions for 49 yards, no touchdowns. Jaron, what are your thoughts on Kittle going forward?
Panic.
Yeah.
Panic. I think that Purdy's looking for Ayuk and Debo and Chris McCaffrey out of the backfield, and I think that Kittle's being utilized more as a blocker than really a pass catcher. I'd be like 9 or 10 on that.
Ross?
Yeah, mine's high too. He is the tight end that will have blow up games, and he hasn't had one yet. Now, this is only the third game, but it doesn't look like this is going to be it either. And so he'll fool you. You're going to think, like, yeah, he's back. 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he will disappear again for 4 to 5 weeks. And then he'll have another blow up game. And then so at the end of the season, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to draft this guy next year. But no, don't be fooled.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled.
Yeah, there's a thing, the fantasy footballers, I don't know if y'all watched our show at all, but they do a thing where it's like consistency rankings at the end of the year, and it's just that. It's how are they doing week to week? And man, that's why I like this tight end thing. I don't even think I'm running a tight end this week, because it's like I would rather just leave it empty and carry another guy on my bench than hope to get 1.5 points out of a guy. I mean, the last time I did that, I got 0.9. And it's just tight ends, man, other than Kelsey and maybe Hawkinson and Andrews, like it's so hit or miss every week. So it's one of those things where sometimes it's not even worth the hassle. Last guy I have is Jamar Chase from the Bengals. Jamar Chase, who came into the year, is one of the top options. Probably in most drafts went second or third wide receiver. So far this year, he's got 10 receptions for 70 yards, no touchdowns. Jaron, what are your thoughts on him?
5 or 6. I'm not really panicking. Joe Burrow had that calf issue in training camp, and it looks like it's still kind of lingering for him. Something's going on with Burrow. He's not himself right now. I don't know if it's a new contract, if it's new money, or what, but I wouldn't panic too much. They'll get it together. He'll be fine. Chase will be fine.
Ross?
Yeah, I'm at 5-2, and Jaron, just like you said, it is all dependent on what Joe Burrow does. Because I had to look this up. Who's the backup for Burrow?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who is it?
Jake Browning. He has not completed a pass in the NFL. So if he comes in, I mean, Chase is the man. They're going to throw to him a lot. I mean, he has had 8 targets in both games. So if Burrow's there, I'm okay. If Burrow's not there, I'm freaking out.
Mine's a little bit higher, and again, it's because of where most people had to take this guy. I think I'm at like a 7 or 8, just because, again, man, if you took him once Jefferson's off the board, you're looking at Chase, Hill, Diggs. He's somewhere in that mix. I mean, all of those guys are way outperforming him right now, and maybe the Bengals just aren't going to be very good this year. And it's just one of those things where that's what's so great about the NFL is you truly don't know year to year who's going to be good and who. I mean, you have a good idea, but that's why it's so there's so much intrigue each year is because it literally could be any team could rise to the top. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on to our DraftKings segment. So Ross, go ahead and take this away.
All right. So I'm going to pick. You had me pick QB, RB, wide receiver, tight end, and a defense. I'm going to give you 2 from each. I'm trying to get guys at good value, guys that, I can't just stack my team with all 10,000 plus, right? Or $10,000 plus. So first up, QBs, I've got Kirk Cousins. They're going against the Chargers. He's at 6,900. And then I've got Dak going against Arizona, 6,600.
Give me Kirk Cousins. And I think Kirk Cousins is one of the best plays this week just because with Dak, you always have to worry about them jumping up on the Cardinals early. And then it's just a get out of there type thing in the second half. I do think that Minnesota game is going to be very high scoring. Kirk Cousins is going to be in a lot of my lineups just because I think he's a great play this week.
I agree. Yeah, I was going to do that's the highest scoring total right now is the Chargers and the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. I bet he throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Hold on, I got to write that down. 300.
Yeah, make sure we come back to that. Yeah. Because there was one you did week 1 where it was like, you're like, yeah, man, I mean, he's going to get 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I can't remember who it was, but I was tracking it that day and I was like, man, he didn't even come close. I'm going to bust his ass about this one, but
I can't say anything. If y'all don't remember who I picked for our lock it in picks last week,
You gotta.
So bad.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, it was so.
You always remember the great picks, but the ones that were awful, you forget those real quick.
This one's gonna stick with me for a while. All right, running backs. So we've got, speaking of Arizona, we got Pollard going against Arizona at 8K. We got Bijan going against Detroit at 7,800. So this is where I was going to spend some money.
I like Bijan in this spot. He's actually going to be in a couple of my lineups too. I just think he's getting the carries. I mean, he's just I've watched a lot of Bijan Robinson being a Texas fan last few years. He can do so much with like a little bit of space. And I just feel like, again, we go back to you kind of have to predict how these games are going to play out. And if the Cowboys jump up on the Cardinals early, which I fully expect them to do, I don't know how much you'll see of Tony Pollard late in the game. They might go to Deuce Vaughn heavily in the third and fourth. So yeah, give me Bijan.
I'll go the opposite. I would do Tony Pollard. I think he's gonna get at least 2 touchdowns in this game. He's gonna get 18 and 20 carries, 80 yards on the ground, maybe 20, 30 yards in the air or receiving. I think he's gonna wreck shop.
But what if Bijan has 3 touchdowns?
We'll see against Green Bay. Green Bay has underrated defense.
Well, they're not playing Green Bay. They're playing Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
He just played.
Bijan just played Panthers.
Yeah, they just played them, right?
Yeah, they had him stopped. And dude, like this is when I thought, okay,
dude, he's so shifty, man. He is so shifty.
They had him. All right. I think I want to go Pollard too, though. I feel like I'm circling Pollard for this one. Maybe it's because
so far I have a DraftKings lineup and I have Cousins and Pollard right now, so I'm wondering who your next running back is.
All right. Receivers. This dude, I don't know if he's getting the respect that he deserves. Puka Nacua playing Cincy at 6,100, or Amari Cooper at 5,700. Amari Cincinnati is playing the Rams.
Give me Puka.
No, I'm sorry. Who? I didn't write down who they're playing. Who are they playing? Cleveland.
Tennessee.
Okay.
I would do Puka too.
Give me. I just think he could be this year's Cooper Kupp. Like, not to that extent, just because Cooper Kupp was already a well-known person, player.
He is Puka. Puka Kupp.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, he is, me and my brother were going back and forth because he spent like half of his free agent budget on him that week. And he sent me the text where it's like, people called me a madman, but he's already paying off huge. So I just think this is going to be a reoccurring theme. Even when Kupp comes back, I think he's going to have a huge role going forward. So yeah, give me Nacua. I don't think he'll be what he's doing now, but I think he'll be a low tier wide receiver too, for sure.
I think he's that X receiver that Cooper Kupp is, but is out. And then you already have Tutu Atwell as your Y. So it'll be interesting when Kupp comes back. They make a space for Puka, but I would do Puka right now.
Yeah, I would too. I'm with you. What are they going to do when Cooper comes back? And until he does come back, the first 2 games, the first game for Puka, I'm sure defenses are like, all right, come on, who's this rookie?
Yeah.
Now they're actually going to have the game plan for him a little. Let's see what that looks like. But I don't know. He's no joke. He's getting the volume and he's doing stuff with it. So I'm circling Puka.
Well, and he's just getting so much opportunity. I mean, he's getting 15, 14 targets a game. Like, that's what I always look for, is like, how many times are they? I mean, that he trusts him because he's going to him so damn much. Yeah.
Sean McVay.
All right.
Ross was. Oh, go ahead.
This may be a decision that I actually have to make in a fantasy lineup too. But I saw these 2 options. Like, all right, let me get your opinion. We got Tyler Higbee going against Cincy for 4,000, or Cole Kmet 4,300 going against KC.
Give me Kmet, just because I feel like they're gonna have to throw a bunch in that game. I don't know, man. Chicago's also kind of a dumpster fire right now, but I do think they kind of come out and maybe let Fields do a little bit more improvising, and he trusts Kmet, so give me Kmet.
Jaron, who you going with, man?
I'm gonna go with Higbee. I think Higbee's going to get maybe 4 or 5 catches, maybe 40 or 50 yards versus Cincy. Maybe a little Super Bowl throwback. on Monday night, but Puka will get his looks, but I think Higbee will do a little bit more than commit. I just don't trust Justin Fields.
Yeah,
he can't even read. He can't read the field. He can't read the defense.
He can read.
He blamed the offensive coordinator earlier this week. Did you hear that in the in an interview in a press conference? And he tried to backtrack later on that day, like, "Well, no, you said what you said, Justin." Anybody. Yeah, I would do Higbee
real quick, but yeah, that wasn't a good sign.
All right, so was that the last one you had, Ross?
I've got defense, but we can move on.
No, go ahead. Go. No, go.
Okay. All right. We got Steelers defense going against Las Vegas for 3,800, or we got Seattle versus Carolina for 3,200.
Seattle.
Yeah, give me Seattle.
Seattle's playing Andy Dalton because Bryce Young's out this week.
Yeah,
and they're playing at home.
Who's at this point in their career though? Who's better?
Bryce Young, I mean, I'd still probably say Bryce Young. I just think that's tricky. I just think that's tricky going from coast to coast, and you're playing at Seattle, a tough place to play. I think Seattle gets their defense on track. They're actually the team I'm plugging in all my DraftKings lineups this week. Right. So, all right. So
DraftKings.
Do what?
Time to celebrate my first week with DraftKings. Hopefully,
you sent out the text saying you finally got on board, so that's good. You'll either love it or you'll hate it, and it's a week to week relationship. So, so real quick, I'm gonna go over 2 lineups that I like, and then if y'all have one, y'all can throw that in there, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So, the 2 lineups I'm running, first one is I'm doing a Kirk Cousins and Jefferson stack. So I'm going Cousins, Walker the third. I'm going Roschon Johnson just because I feel like they're going to be behind in that game, and I do feel like he's starting to get more and more touches. He's only 4,700, so if he gets me 15 points, I'm sitting pretty good. Justin Jefferson, Tank Dell for 3,600. That is dirt cheap. Drake London, 5K, and then this is another guy I'm running in every lineup. Hunter Henry, 4,100. Michael Pittman Jr., 6,200, and then obviously Seattle's defense. And then the other lineup I'm running is Stroud, Walker the third, Mostert, Nico Collins, because I do feel like Houston is going to be able to throw it a little bit, and Calvin Ridley, London, Hunter Henry, CeeDee Lamb, and then Seattle's defense.
Nice. I got a DraftKings lineup. I did Kirk Cousins, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams versus Miami. So I did a stack with Jordan Addison and Kirk Cousins. I think Addison's going to score again. I got Zay Flowers for 5,400. Odell Beckham's out, and Indianapolis is 31st against the pass.
Yeah, I looked at him too, Flowers, yeah.
Yeah, and I also did Tank Dell for 3,600. I did Zach Ertz for 3,500 on tight end. He's getting 10 targets a game so far with Josh Dobbs as quarterback. Man. And in my flex, I did Stephon Diggs. And in my defense, I did Patriots versus the Jets.
That was my second option. I just couldn't. Once I got down to that part, I couldn't afford them. So I went with my second option, which was Seattle. All right. So there's our Ross. Did you have anything? Have you set your lineup yet for that?
No. Let me get y'all's quick take though. Since I don't have one, I'll just get your opinion. I can start one. Give me Cooper, Amari Cooper. Give me Zay Flowers or Tyler Lockett.
I would go with Flowers or who was the first guy you said?
Amari Cooper.
Because I feel like that's how you beat Tennessee is through the air. They are so bad through the air. Deshaun Watson was critical of himself after Monday night's game. I feel like they throw it around a bit in this one, and I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. So I think either option's good. If I had to pick one, probably go Flowers now that Beckham's out.
He's looking good.
Yeah,
I would do Flowers.
He's projected highest too of the 3.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our underdog segment. This is the Underdog 12-pack, so we will be I hope you picked 12, did you?
Nope.
I got quite a bit.
Okay, well, if not, we'll work it up to 12. So if not, I'll just have to come up with a new name for that. All right, so Jaron, go ahead.
Justin Jefferson, higher than 0.5 rushing or receiving TDs? I'm going to say higher.
Yeah, I'd go higher. On the Jefferson one, and I'll talk about this later, but I try to stay away from the touchdown ones because they're so hit or miss. But I do think he has a huge game. I think he goes off in this one.
Randall Cobb, who hasn't caught a reception all year, lower or higher than 12.5 receiving yards.
And he play. Who does Randall Cobb even play for now?
The Jets.
I'm gonna. God, you would pick these where it's some dude that's grabbing waters for people.
It's at a plus 120 right now.
Yeah, it's for a reason. I think I'd probably go under, just because.
I did too.
I mean, that sounds like, because that's one of those where they throw it in there and they're like, oh, it's only 12.5 yards. Right. Yeah, it's that low for a reason. Yeah.
Okay, out of the Chargers,
what did you pick on that?
I did lower.
Jesus. Who are they playing?
New England. You know Belichick's going to scheme.
Yeah, he's going to scheme for Cobb.
Scheme against Cobb.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go higher. He's going to get 13 yards.
All right.
Oh. All right. Out of the Chargers in Minnesota, Cameron Dicker, the kicker for the Chargers, higher or lower than 7 kicking points?
I'm going to go higher.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I did. All right. Khalil Herbert, running back for the Bears, higher or lower than 8.5 receiving yards?
Oh.
The last 2 games, he's had 23 and 37.
No, give me higher. I was going.
Yeah, give me the, because I mean that's I will never, like, I'm just doing this for the pick, but I would never put this in actually one of my lineups because that's just such a weird. But I feel like that's one catch. If he gets one screen for 10 yards, you've got it. So
exactly.
So yeah.
All right. Jordan Addison, receiver for the Vikings, higher or lower than 50.5 receiving yards?
This is another one of those where it's like it's one catch. That's what he's done the last 2 weeks. If he gets one long one.
The last 2 games, he's had 61 and 72 yards.
Yeah, I'm going to go over just because Miami's defense is, or the Chargers, I'm sorry. They gave up how many yards to Miami's wide receivers? So I feel like he's got
passing defense.
Yeah, I feel like he's got one long one in him.
Yeah, give me higher.
Okay. I got another touchdown one. Travis Kelce, higher or lower than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns?
I'm going high. I think he's going to have a blow-up game.
Yeah, I just don't feel like he really trusts anybody else on that offense yet.
He scored last week versus Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All right, I got Tony Pollard, another touchdown one, higher or lower than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns?
Give me the over.
Yep.
That's what I did.
He's fine in the end zone, man.
Yeah, he should get a rushing. All right. CeeDee Lamb, higher or lower than 69.5 receiving yards?
Over, way over.
That's what I did. All right. Out of the Chargers, Keenan Allen, higher or lower than 74.5 receiving yards?
Yeah, I think I saw that one out there.
See, this is where it's tough, man, because they do throw it around to different guys.
I'm saying
last 2 games he's had 76 yards and 111.
Yeah, he's due for.
Yeah, give me the over.
Okay, and then
Did you? Hold on, Ross. You said lower. Okay.
Yeah.
You said lower?
What are you picking?
I did higher.
Higher. Okay.
And then there's a special if you play 100K. It's 100K. I think it's basically Tyreek Hill, higher or lower than 91.5 total yards.
Oh, and it's like boosted?
Yeah, so if you play it and you win, you get a chance to win 100K.
Oh, okay.
Everybody talks about him being shadowed. And what did he do last week? He still had a good week, and he was shadowed.
Last week he only had 40 yards, but he had a touchdown.
Yeah.
And who do they play this week?
They're playing Denver,
Broncos.
so he's looking at Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
Second.
Who shut down
Possibly.
Devontae, but then they.
And the number is 91.5.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going under on that. Because on that one, you don't have to pick the over on that. You can pick either side and you still get entered. So, yeah, give me the under for sure. Ross, what did you say?
Yeah, I'm going under because I'm not sure if Waddle's going to play. And if he doesn't play, then
yeah, I think they can key on him. Okay.
Yeah,
I went over.
Over. Okay.
I think there's no stopping them. I'm playing at home.
Yeah.
All right, those are my underdogs I had.
All right, so that's 10. So I'll throw out two more that I had written down. Drake London over under 52.5 receiving yards.
I want it to be over, but I think he's going to be under.
God. I'll say over. I'll say give me the over because I think the Lions just lost their starting corner.
And whenever they do throw it, they don't throw it a ton, but when they do throw it, he does look to London a lot.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah, so give me the over on that. And then the last one, Bijan Robinson over under 67.5 rushing yards.
60.5.
Give me the over.
67.5.
Yeah, over.
Okay. All right, so that was our Underdog 12 pack. So I think, and it always looks good because you're picking guys that most of the time you know a little bit about. So the number seems low. So it seems like you're picking over more than you are under, but it's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
All right. This one we had there was one out there for Christian McCaffrey higher than 116.5 rushing and receiving combined.
Well, that game's going on right now, so that's why I didn't throw it in there.
Oh, well, I picked up. And he's already got 87.
I'm good with that too because he's on my team.
He's gonna be it.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to each of our underdog plays. So we're gonna pick three plays that we really like for our own little parlay, and then we're gonna keep track of this moving forward. All right. So the three I have, I like Bijan Robinson over 67.5. I like Hunter Henry. This is actually my play of the week is Hunter Henry over 31.5 receiving yards. And then Amari Cooper over 4.5 receptions. So that's mine.
You have Hunter Henry 31.5 over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, last game, and this the Jets are awful against tight ends, and I feel like if you're gonna throw on them, that's where you're gonna throw to your tight end because they have such good corners. Let's see what he did last week. Last week he had
50 points 50 yards the last two games.
Yeah, he had 6 receptions for 52 and a touchdown. So I feel like they get him even more involved this week.
Could you say those again? So you had Bijan over 67.5 rushing. You have Hunter Henry over 31.5 receiving. Who is your third one?
Amari Cooper over 4.5 receptions.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he should get that.
Yeah. All right, Ross, you got one?
Yeah. So I had two for tonight. I told you about the Christian McCaffrey. He just needs 116.5 rushing and receiving combined. I've got Daniel Jones, higher than 0.5 interceptions. He's not thrown one yet, so kind of sweating that one. And then I've got Kirk Cousins, higher than 19.95 fantasy points.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I always like those. I tell you, the ones that I hit the most are the kicker ones. I feel like I hit the kicker ones more than anything, and it's because it's normally just like if they hit 2 field goals, then that's one of their things. So
there's one for the kicker for Greg Joseph, the kicker from Minnesota, 6.5 kicking points, higher or lower. I'd say higher.
Yeah, I think that's a high scoring game for sure. All right, Jaron, you got one?
A lineup?
Yeah, just 3 picks that you like.
Yeah, I think I said like 10 of them.
We'll put it to, like if you're gonna pick a 3-leg parlay, put it together, and then we'll keep track of if they hit or not.
Okay. Only a 3-leg? Okay. I was gonna do some ones you had. I was gonna do the Greg Joseph's over 6.5 kicking points. Kicker for the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. I really like your Hunter Henry 31.5 receiving yards. And then I really like your Bijan Robinson 67.5 rushing yards over as well. So I was gonna do those 3.
All right. So, and I think what we'll do next time is we'll talk to each other beforehand, and we'll submit these so that they're different enough to where they're different plays, and then that way we'll know who else everybody else is picking. All right. So now let's pick one play this week that we're gonna do together as a team parlay that people can hopefully do with us and hopefully win some money. So mine is Hunter Henry over 31.5 receiving yards.
All right, well then give me Kirk at higher than 19.95 fantasy.
Okay.
Give me CeeDee Lamb higher than 69.5 receiving.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
60. How much was it? 69.5.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that'll be our team parlay. Hunter Henry over 31.5. Kirk Cousins over 19.5 fantasy points, and CeeDee Lamb over 69.5. So if you want to put that lineup in, hopefully it'll hit, and then we'll be off to a good start. So that's pretty much our show. So guys, y'all have anything else y'all wanted to go over before we get out of here?
Yeah. So Vanessa has played fantasy football only 2 years now, and she's won both times in this league.
Dude, that's why you shouldn't sorry, man, but
yeah, it's I'm ready for her to lose.
Because
I go into the room today and she goes, "Who's the backup? Who's the backup for Diggs?" I'm like, "Diggs is out." I was like, "Gabe Davis." I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, I haven't seen anything on Diggs being out. She's like, I'm scrambling to find who his backup is, and she goes,
"Dude, that reminds me so
Cowboys
much."
Is out. I'm like, he plays D. Oh my god! How have you won the championship 2 years in a row? Like, this is not fair.
I love it.
That is so much like my mom when we do our bracket challenge for March Madness. Dude, she couldn't name you. Not only she couldn't name you players, but she couldn't name you half these teams, like what their mascot is. And she's won it like 3 of the 4 years that we've done it. And she'll always, and what she does is she'll always be like, she's like, I'm having a really tough time between Houston and Cincinnati. And I'm like, okay. And I could tell that she wants me to help her pick one. So I'm like, well, I think Houston's really good. That's probably where I'm gonna pick Houston. And then Houston gets beat, and the whole time she's just like texting me. She's like, I should have never picked Houston. Like, why did you tell me to pick Houston? I'm just like, you know what, man? I'm thankful for you bringing me into the world and all, but, give me a break. All right, so that's our show. Thanks, guys, for joining me, and we'll keep track of this, see how we're doing, and good luck. Oh, last thing. So Ross, what'd you think of that graphic I sent you for our rivalry game last week?
I won't lie, that was pretty sick, man.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do like a wrestling, like pay-per-view, like certain weeks are gonna be like pay-per-views.
Kind of
thing. Yeah, so I'm just hoping to do something to kind of add a little bit more like trash talking, a little bit more excitement in the league. So, that's another thing. If you're in a league that you've been in for a long time and it's kind of, the energy's not there, like do something dumb, do something different to kind of mix it up a little bit. Hopefully this works. So we're going to try it out and see. But thanks guys again for taking the time, and we'll see you next time. Hold on. Hey guys, don't leave yet.
Peace.